brings me absolutely no joy to say this, because I was actually really excited for this blaster, and after having it for about a week now, I unfortunately have to warn you before you try to buy this one, because it looks like Dart Zone Pro, Adventure Force Pro have finally messed up. Even though it could do really cool stuff like this. I'm Walcom S7. Delicious breakfast secrets were revealed to me the moment I held aloft my magic spoon and said, "This video is sponsored by Magic Spoon!" If you love breakfast cereal as much as I do, you're probably aware that almost all breakfast cereal is quite possibly one of the worst things you can eat. And that's where Magic Spoon comes in. Gluten-free, grain-free, zero sugar, high in protein, low carbs, and natural flavors bring together a guilt-free cereal experience. And they have more flavors than I know what to do with. Cocoa, s'mores, blueberry muffin? This actually sounds pretty rad. And my personal favorite, maple waffle. This is the one that has never let me down. I could eat box after box of this stuff. They even have cereal bars now. Still gluten-free, grain-free, low in carbs, and high in protein with only 1 gram of sugar. These are fantastic. All right, I gotta try some of this blueberry muffin. Oh. Into the Magic Spoon bowl. Crap, that might be better than maple waffle. And if you want to join me in a guilt-free cereal experience, whether you're at home or on the go, use the link on screen or down in the description to go to magicspoon.com/Walcom or use code Walcom at checkout to save $5 off any order. Finally, it's a cereal that us grown-ups can eat and not have to feel guilty about afterwards. Thank you again, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this video, and please remember to use code Walcom at checkout to save $5 and help make sure that I get to keep doing this and get all of the delicious cereals. This is the Adventure Force Deuce Pro under the Adventure Force Tactical Strike Pro line. It's the Dart Zone Pro you know and love on Walmart shelves, at least in the US. Now, $40 might seem a bit much for what is essentially a Pro NERF Strongarm, but it actually comes with a lot of extra stuff. And it advertises a range of upwards of 125 feet, which is more than double what NERF normally offers. And yet it fires cut down NERF darts. You can make them yourselves by simply cutting one of these darts down, or you could just buy a refill pack of the Adventure Force Pro darts, which the blaster comes with 18 of. In the package, you get the blaster, a holster, a muzzle brake as they call it, a cylinder carrier, and 2 cylinders with an extra cylinder already loaded in the blaster from the get-go. The holster this thing comes with is purposely built for this blaster. It's not supposed to work with anything else that I know of. It's a drop leg style holster, of which the top part of it that connects to your belt is on a belt that I'm not wearing right now. And then this part goes wrapped around your thigh, which in my testing, it's okay. I personally don't like these style of holsters because I'm a big boy with thick thighs. And if I sprint, and yes, I can sprint, not very long or very fast, but I can do it, I was able to jostle the blaster free. Now with the barrel extension off, mind you, if I had the barrel extension on, it would be a bit harder for it to come out. It's a nice flexible plastic, and it also comes with a piece that clips on. You don't have to put this on, but this section right here is meant for carrying your muzzle brake, which you can also just have the blaster holstered with it inside of it. The muzzle brake is actually really important on this blaster because this is effectively your barrel. Without this, the blaster has no barrel, but will still fire at a pretty good velocity. The blaster itself, it's a short dart only strong arm, essentially. It is a revolver with a slide prime. This thing can be a bit deceptive because it works different than any other revolver we've pretty much ever had in the hobby, because this has a pusher style breech, which means when I prime this back, I'm actually physically pulling a bar back, which I can now remove the cylinder from, and you can see when I push that back forward, there's a bar that comes through. This actually pushes a dart out of the cylinder and seats it in the barrel, which is the area right up here, which you can tell is slightly longer than the dart itself. There's actually an O-ring in the back of the barrel that actually seals this whole system because there's no pusher O-ring on this. This is a pusher without an O-ring, which is something I don't think I've seen before in the hobby. So the O-ring in the barrel actually seals around that and creates an air seal, which is how all the air power gets delivered into your dart. But of course, there's no barrel until this comes in. It actually has lugs in it that function similarly to like an N-Strike barrel attachment, a small lug and a bigger lug that just kind of twists fit on there, and there's actually a gasket in the very front of the barrel that seals with this metal barrel that you can clearly see inside the barrel attachment, or muzzle brake as they call it, and that is effectively your barrel. And yes, this does dramatically increase the performance of your blaster. So you want good performance, you can do this. If you want bad performance, you can do this. It works pretty good. There's also this piece on the top, which is your sliding front sight. This is gray, this is gray. I mean, it technically works. It's Nerf, you're pretty much just gonna feel every shot you take anyway. There is Picatinny, yes, Picatinny style rail up at the top, Picatinny rail on the top of the muzzle attachment, and a Picatinny sized rail at the bottom that does not have any kind of like locking point on it. More about that one towards the end. The cylinders are actually kind of bizarre with this one too, because it's got like little tabs in the back that are supposed to like hold the dart. You can load them in either way you want to, but unlike every other spring-powered revolver in the nerfing catalog, this one does not really seal around the dart. It's just a very kind of loose fit, so the darts don't fall out or anything like that, because again, this has a pusher that will push that dart and seal it into the barrel. So we prime that back, we take our cylinder, and we push that in. To remove it, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a clicking fit kind of operation, but it does work. Put that in there, push it forward, and now we have a dart chambered in the blaster. But again, we're just gonna put this on there so we can actually get some pop out of it. And pop out of it we will get. Some of these shots, especially with the Dart Zone Max darts, which have slightly different heads to them, really make a sound. And honestly, at some points, that can actually hurt your ears. It's a very loud sound. I kind of wish there was some amount of porting or something in this barrel. It's uncomfortably loud sometimes. And yes, you can holster the entire blaster with the barrel extension on it, so you don't even need to attach this part if you don't want to. It looks like you can unscrew it and pull it off if you want to, but it is a friction pop in. The cylinder carrier is meant to go on your belt, so this blaster does come with 3 cylinders total, each one holding 6 shots apiece. And it's just a piece of plastic that you put on your belt. You can very easily pull your cylinders out. They're meant to go face, like dart head face up. You could put them down in there, but they don't stay, obviously. And you can, in fact, have this on your belt and load the cylinders up on your belt because, of course, they're completely open-faced. There's nothing obstructing you from loading darts in from the top, which is a very good design choice. And the holes are kind of spaced out to where you can't push the darts too far down. When I first got this thing, I was under the impression, like, you get all this stuff for $40. That seems like a good deal, but that only seemed like a good deal to me because the Dart Zone Pro Mark 1 came with a holster and the speed loaders and a holder for those speed loaders and everything for a total of like $100. So this does seem like a good deal, and the quality is there. It feels like a pretty stout product. It does feature like a metal barrel and stuff like that, but if you didn't want the holster and you didn't want like the holder, like there's no way to buy it without that, which is obviously jumping that price up. So let's go see what the performance is like out of the chronograph, shoot it around a bit, and then show some of the cooler things it can do, and then also what breaks the entire blaster from working. All right, so first we're gonna chronograph this thing and see how fast these darts are actually going. The first set of 6 is going to be with the blaster without the barrel extension on, and then the second set of 6 will be with the barrel extension on. So starting with it off, okay, 97.7, 98.6, 101.7, 106.9, 101.2, and it looks like it skipped a cylinder on me. Yeah, it did. I'm not quite sure why. Let's try that again. And 105 even. And now, with the long barrel equipped, 146.5, 138.2, 128.5, 135.2, 130.3. And once again, I have skipped a cylinder somewhere. That is somewhat of a problem. 142.4. I am very happy with that. All right, so we know the Deuce Pro will be a perfectly good dart shooter, as you would expect from something from Dart Zone. However, does it shotgun? And the first answer to that is the cylinders hold 3 of these 50 caliber foam balls absolutely perfectly. They don't drop out or anything like that. And yet, the performance. Of course, we're going to need the long barrel for this one. So that's only about 30 feet away, but it's so good. It is hot. So I've got 3 cylinders here. We're at the virtual shooting range. It is almost done. There's actually quite a bit of transformation left, but I think I have all the parts for it, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, we're gonna be shooting the red Max Force dart down at the target. I have a optic on here. The point is not how close I am to the target. The point is the grouping. I will be not correcting my aim. I just need a fixed view. I've clamped it on here to the point where hopefully it will not move the barrel, and I've got a rest right here. We're just gonna see how the accuracy is practically out of the box, which is a little bit more difficult than you'd think with a blaster like this. So I'm gonna be aiming dead at the dot in the center of the target and hoping that hits so I don't have to choose a new shooting point. Yeah, it's actually a little bit high, so. Are you not even gonna rotate? Did you pop loose? So. That is so loud. It is so loud with these darts. Man. Ooh, that one was way off. Should be noted, this blaster has no scar barrel or anything to add spin and improve accuracy. It's just straight bore. Besides the one outlier, it's doing pretty good. And the final cylinder. A little bit off with that one. That is so loud. And the final shot. So overall, it's pretty freaking consistent. I have no issues. That obviously it would be better with a scar barrel, but those weren't even like the top of the line darts or anything like that. They're actually used ones. I think they've only been fired once, and that performed pretty well. So now what I want to do is I want to fill these cylinders and see how it can do in an actual like shooting environment. All right, 10 shots at the target, no rest, no anything else. It's just freehand. Oh, is that out or did I skip one? I skipped one. See what I'm talking about with the... I'm not even trying to make it skip. I'm 69 giggity. I'm not even trying to pull it back too fast. I'm just doing it how I normally would, and it's still skipping shots, which is... it's not acceptable. It's a great score. It was great. Like, it felt intuitive and fun to shoot. I just... That skipping is ridiculous. It's unusable. Shooting those 50 caliber foam balls out of this blaster is one of the greatest joys I've had. Because of the way the cylinder works, it's practically perfect to make some kind of shotgun revolver-esque setup, like something you'd see out of Call of Duty or like Snake Shot or something like that. It works exceptionally well, and any blaster where you can swap between ammo types and drastically change how the blaster functions, almost without opponents even realizing it, is fantastic. But shooting insanely long distances out of a pistol-sized blaster and then swapping to an adequate shotgun blast of foam? Yeah, it's really freaking cool. And that's where this video would end, a slam dunk from Adventure Force Pro Dart Zone Primetime Toys. However, I need to remind you that I bought this at my local Walmart. I paid for this blaster. It was not sent to me. I do get sent blasters from Dart Zone every once in a while. This one and lots of others do not work. There is a fatal flaw in the design that I now have to explain. The blaster itself rotates at the very end of the prime. You can actually prime this blaster almost without rotating it, and it's a pretty, you might have just noticed that, it's a pretty hefty prime. So the very end, even though it's locked back and there is no return spring, every time you prime this, the blaster indexes. The problem with this design is that if you prime it back too forcefully, the chamber doesn't even rotate. If you don't pull it back all the way and it doesn't do that rotation, you may have to, like, oh no, it didn't catch, and have to prime it again and skip a cylinder. Again, not a very good design, but the worst part is, if you do it just right, you will wind up skipping cylinders rather frequently, which means a lot of the time you'll whip this thing out and prime it and you're gonna be on the wrong cylinder. You would have just completely skipped one or not rotated in any way. This is a common problem that I was warned about the second I posted the video on Instagram about this thing shooting shotgun shells, when I was very excited for it. I had like one or two minor hiccups, but that's the importance of taking your time and actually playing with the darn thing, because that's a flaw that's pretty much, it just sinks the entire ship. You may think, oh, that's not a big deal, but I can tell you one of the most frustrating things you can ever experience is when your blaster doesn't function the way it's supposed to. And since the only way to make this thing work reliably is to just always have that perfect prime, not too fast, not too slow, get it right in that Goldilocks ratio where you're not gonna be able to do that after you've been running around, shooting at other people, dodging darts. It's really difficult. It is popping up on Walmart shelves. It's not my local Walmart. I had to drive over an hour away to pick this thing up. This batch might not be worth doing, and unfortunately, I don't know if that design is correctable without any kind of major revision. We will have to see what Dart Zone Primetime Toys does. I mean, if that's not a big deal for you, you don't mind half the time you fire the blaster, a dart not coming out because it skipped a cylinder or didn't rotate or whatnot, and you have to casually prime it every single time you want to use it, go for it. But I'm filming this post Foam Pro Tour, and I can tell a lot of you are not going to appreciate this thing misfiring at any point, which is a huge shame. I'm sad to disclose this because I had high hopes for this blaster and I was really excited. And this is one of the first black marks against Dart Zone that I've seen. And I'm really hoping they make an announcement about this and they fix it in some, they at least mention they're gonna fix it, because this is really bad. This is not good. And I don't know how widespread the issue is. And I'm sure there's gonna be people down there saying, oh, mine works fine. What are you talking about, Walcom? Take those comments with a grain of salt, because I've seen so many people come to me saying that this thing does not work. Apparently they jam. I haven't had a jam in mine, but apparently they jam, and that rotation, meaning it's not gonna shoot a dart when you want it to, and you have no idea because it looks like the cylinder is moving. That's a huge problem that is gonna lead to a lot of unhappy people. And it's a pretty stiff prime. This is not meant for kids. This is ages 14 and up. Really hope to see it get fixed in the future, Buzzbee. Really hope to see this get fixed up in the future, because I like the design of the blaster. If I had one thing about this blaster that I want the modding community to get on, and this may fix that issue with the priming, is that this rail, the fact that it has no locking points or anything on it, but is a Picatinny rail, means that when it's attached to the blaster, if you notice the priming side... Wow! Glad I got that on camera. Let's frickin' try that again. Notice the priming distance is actually incredibly short compared to this length of rail. So you know what I'm thinking? It needs to have a little pump action or something on it, and maybe even a different grip. I don't see why that wouldn't work, because you could just get rid of the safety and push this thing back and have a little swept back grip with a little pump action and make a little tiny short pump action that can shoot darts and 50 caliber foam balls. That would be incredibly cool. It's just the more I use this thing, the more I wonder if it's even worth the time. That's all I've got for you. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video. Chances are you got to the end, you like what I do here, so please hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, do all that algorithmic garbage to help the channel grow so you can help the hobby grow. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video. Hopefully, a little bit more upbeat than this one.
You gotta